Everybody. Okay, you all must have seen yesterday on the website the topic for today is how to tackle relations using emotional intelligence. Generally, we all use intelligence in some way or the other, and it's basically that IQ to which we give a lot of importance to. So far, I think everybody is given a lot of importance to IQs. Even when children go to school, the first thing that parents inquire the teacher, and the parents are more keen to know as to how intelligent is my child based on the academic records and everything. So even the testing when it's done in school, based on something or the other, it's the IQ which is generally tested. Very, very rarely the EQ is taken into consideration. But if you've observed the report cards of even younger children in school, they usually have these terms as to how is the social adaptability of the child, whether the child is mingling in the class, whether the child is participating, sharing, how easily the child is, the sensitivity of the child. These things are also being given remarks on. Parents nowadays, fortunately, have started looking into these aspects also, but forgetting that a major part again of the emotional upbringing also, it depends on the homely environment. And luckily, one thing which is existing but a lot of people don't know is that we come with a specific IQ. IQ is God gifted, but EQ is something which could always be developed. So that's something that we could develop, we could grow as the child or the person is growing. So why emotional intelligence used in relationships can really work wonders. So it is all about that we are going to see today. So let me start with what are relationships. Relationship generally in dictionary, the way it's defined as when you are connected with somebody. It's either by blood relation or either some emotional connect or someone you like to communicate with or someone you are in touch with basically. So this is how relationships are defined in a broader way. Relation, when you say you are related to everybody, the whole society, the whole world is related to you in some way or the other because we share same air and the same natural sources that we are going to be sharing, and we stay on the same planet. But when you say relationships, is particularly some individuals, some category but in the society existing with which we interact, we have something interested in, something that lies our interest in that particular person or a group. And what's EQ or IQ? Along with EQ, along with your academic intelligence, which you call as your intelligence quotient, IQ. EQ is the another term which was found out by Daniel Goleman. He was the one who researched and found out what's EQ all about. And it's the world known fact, it's rather a scientific fact that most of the people who are successful in life are not because of their IQ but because of their EQ. So it is said that even if you are very intelligent, you might see your people around you who have amazing academic records, but when you look at their work life, their personal life, it's all messed up. And we often keep wondering as to how come. Something that we really cannot digest, that this person was so good in school, was always topping all the subjects, and now why is this person not able to do well, whereas an average person, a person who was always average academically at school level and college level, is performing amazing at work and personal levels, is because that person probably knew how to manage his or her emotions. So when you can manage, because it's in the end everything is about emotions, yours or somebody else's, because you interact. You are not operating alone on this planet. You are, every time whenever you're doing anything, you are interacting, you're dealing with another human being, another person, and which necessarily involves some or the other emotions. I'm sorry, just so as I said earlier, IQ comprises of a very little portion of what we are today. Mostly it's all EQ. Not that IQ is not necessary in life. Of course, you need average IQ to perform sensibly. You need a limited amount of IQ as well. But not as much importance that we've been giving IQ all our lives till date. IQ, even if you are 180, 200 IQ that you have, it is above average and supposed to be really very nice. Not guaranteeing that this IQ is going to definitely land you up in a very nice and successful life later. But it's EQ which generally makes you do that. But again, as I said, we come with a limited IQ. We come with a fixed IQ given, but that's God's gift. But EQ is something that we could change, we could grow, we could develop. So EQ is that something that has a major aspect of what we are today, and we could change it, we could develop it, which is completely into our hands. I'll go a little in detail right now. Now, components, or what are the basic things that comprises of emotional quotient? Emotional quotient comprises of these four things, starting with understanding your own emotions. This is what emotional intelligence is all about. The basic thing, where the base of emotional intelligence is when you start understanding your own self. Each one of us, how much ever similar we look, or we have things in common, but there is something different, something that makes us different from others. So that's called personality. So each one of us has a very different, a very unique personality, which 90% of us are not aware of. We are not even aware of what we are like. We are all the time busy gauging and analyzing other people. All the time we are interested in what is she like, what is he like, which is the best way in which I can please her, please him, please this company, get this contract. So we are busy understanding other people so much that in the process, right from beginning, when we are taught social etiquettes by our parents, when we are taught certain disciplines and everything, we fail to understand that there is a major part of us that we need to peep into. Nowadays, when people talk about meditation and internalization and all those things, somewhere or the other it is related to you finding out about yourself, which most of us are not aware of. So as a grown-up adult, we should ideally put this into our children, saying that you need to understand yourself first to better understand other people around you. So the first thing that is important, or that is comprising into, when you start developing emotional intelligence, the first thing that should happen is when you start, you have to understand your own emotions. Every minute, every second, every time we interact with somebody or the other, we face, or we definitely experience some or the other emotion. It could be either anger, it could be jealousy, it could be just pleasing emotion, it could be nice, happy, love, friendship. So many things, you experience while you're interacting, even on a casual manner with a person. We often neglect it. We think, no, it's a part of it. In a day, we interact with so many people. Why do we take that into consideration or account? But if you notice that in a day, if you most of the time you've got irritated with people meeting you, 90% of the people who've met you have put you in the irritable situation, then you have to understand that were the people around irritating, or was something within you that was causing that irritation. So this is when this is the first step. You understand that you as a person are undergoing certain emotional changes at this point of time, are experiencing certain emotions which is making you perceive the other person in the wrong manner. So understanding personal emotions, understanding your own self is very important. As I said, every day we experience different emotions because of somebody or because of our own self. That's something later we can find out. But what is that emotion? What is it that you are feeling at this moment is very important to understand, to concentrate upon, to be aware of. So whenever you're talking, I'm in a happy mood or I'm in a sad mood. So when you're in a sad mood, you know that because you are in sad mood, somebody will come and talk to you. You're not necessarily going to like it. So you don't have a grievance, or you don't have a aggression towards the other person, because you know somewhere that you yourself are not feeling a little high today. You yourself are in a little depressed mood today. So you are naturally going to find people around not very appealing. But unless and until you have found that out, unless and until you have really understood that what you are undergoing, you are bound to feel other people around you irritating you, disgusting you, and somewhere or the other getting into your nerves. So first thing, understanding your emotions. After you've understood your emotions, it's easy to perceive emotions of other people, emotions of people around you. As to now, since you know yourself so well that today probably because I have not got good sleep, I'm in a little disturbed mood, or today I'm in a very fresh mood because I've just come back from vacation, or I've just met a very good friend of mine yesterday and I'm in a very elevated mood. So if you know that, you know you're in a happy mood or in a sad mood, then at least you're clear about yourself. Then comes when someone else is interacting with, and that person comes just shouting and and talking and just talking loudly, giving you all sorts of abuses. You are in a position to understand that probably this person has had some bad experience, this person has had something happening in their personal life because of which he or she is behaving like this. You are not going to take it personally. You are not going to take yourself, you're not going to consider yourself as responsible for that person's emotional outburst or reaction, because you are matured enough by now. You have started understanding that this person has something emotional disturbing him or her. That is the reason this reaction. So the perception about your own self, about your own emotions, you are not going to take that thing is not going to disturb you in any way. So perceiving other people's emotions also becomes easier once you understand your own emotions. After that, it's easy to manage your emotions. Like as I said, if you know you are sad, or if you know you're very happy, you can easily control it, because you know ki you are extra happy, you are extra enthusiastic today, but you have to go for a presentation, you have to go for a meeting. You're not going to keep smiling all the time. You're not going to keep cracking jokes all the time only because you are in that happy mood, because you know you got to be serious at this moment because there is some serious conversation going on. So you know you have to keep your mood very well in control. At the same time, even if there is something very drastic happened with you on the emotional end, understanding our emotion as well as emotions of people around us, we can very well manage our own emotions. It could be high, it could be low. So managing emotions is a very big quality of a person with high emotional intelligence. So once you manage emotions, then the next step and the last step would be how to use these emotions in a positive manner. Like for example, when you are depressed or sad, so when you can start taking out a positive meaning out of it. Like if some episode or some experience has made you sad or made you feel low for that particular moment or for that particular day, how could you start feeling a little better using that emotion in a very positive manner, in using it in your positive way. Some people start writing some stories, and some people start writing poetries out of it. This is the way they can show their creativity out of it. At the same time, when you feel bad, you can also feel like putting yourself into others' shoes. That empathizing becomes a lot easier. That when you are feeling sad, when someone's behaved like this with you or something like this has happened with you, you could start relating to other people who have experienced certain situations similar to you. At the same time, you can start having a spiritual or a positive meaning out of the whole experience, and which can start making you feel a little much better or take you to another level on a spiritual aspect when you start start having a positive meaning out of that whole negative experience or the emotions that you have faced. Basically, this was a general thing that I told you about emotional intelligence, how the components that it has. Now here there's a little bit of impact given on the organization or a work front thing. So when you are self-aware is, as I said, you have to understand your own emotions. Once you understand your own emotions, it's easy to understand others' emotions, which is social awareness. So for a person who is working, it's very important in the work front to work with the team. That teamwork is very important. Gelling with people is very important. Not only people look at your targets at the end of the day, people also want to see as to how good you are with taking people along and building relationships and going ahead, taking the company at a different level. So these people need to very much understand others' emotions. So social awareness comes only for people who once are clear with their self. So once they understand other people love to be under their leadership, under the leadership of a person who can understand them. So that person can definitely have those leadership qualities. At the same time, as I said, the management of emotions, you can manage your emotions and work according to what situation is demanding at that point of time. So this way you can manage the emotions, and working with both the aspects, the relationship management could be taken to entirely a different aspect, a different level. Once this relationship, it could do, it could influence you, it could inspire leadership, it could you could be a very good coach and a mentor. The conflict management, which usually happens in every organization, every place, that could be dealt with, and a good teamwork, which is the most essential part of any good productive environment, can be taken care of. Empathy, when you understand others, it means that you are empathizing with others. I would just like to narrate a little small experience here. One of my clients, I was just talking to her on the phone, and she happens to call up and tell me that, ma'am, you don't know what you've done for me. You've been so good. You've actually taken, helped me come out of a very, very bad emotional state, and I'm feeling so good after talking to you. And she started giving me names like, you've been my God and you've been my Almighty and all that. So I said, please don't give me all these names. It was just a little bit of empathy that I showed. See, there's a little difference between empathy and sympathy. Most of you might be knowing. But sympathy is when I actually start sitting and crying for her. So I actually start feeling that I am also undergoing the same thing, and I also start losing my emotions. That's sympathy. So when you sympathize with someone, you generally lose control over your own self. So sympathy is not always as positive as we talk about. but it's empathy which works wonders. Empathy is when you balance your own mental level and you help others coming out of that emotional traumatic state. So I just happened to tell her that it was nothing that I did. It was that in my profession I am supposed to show empathy towards my client, and this is exactly what I've done. I've just been a little empathetic towards you. She's saying, ma'am, whatever terms you use, but it's helped me a lot. And this is when I just happened to tell her that if all of us, show that basic empathy towards one another, I don't think anyone would need anyone to consult, anyone would need any professional help to come out of any emotional trauma. Because once you understand other person's emotional state, it's very easy to deal with, and there are very few conflicts that are going to arise after that kind of an environment is set up. So this is empathy, something that could be given rise to, which is a very good human quality to. And organizational awareness, again, everybody in the organization becomes aware of one another. It could lead to a very good teamwork, basically. Now comes relations based on emotions. Now, relation, as I said, we can all say, I relate to this person. This is a relation we have. We have a client and a professional relationship. We have a client-doctor, a client helper relation, therapist relationship, or client and a business owner relationship. But whether your relation is going to ship or is going to sink depends on the emotional quotient of both the parties. So this is where emotional intelligence plays a very important role. Many a times we see that there is one person who often wants to think or talk only for themselves. They are concerned more about their aspect of things. Whether it's business or whether it is, now let's say I'll talk about my profession. Why should I go on to some other profession? In my profession also, of lately, there are people who become a way too professional. Being professional is not bad, but being professional, you lose your empathy at one point of time. People are not ready to listen to the client. People just want to. I'm just reading a book of lately, and there is this mental hospital scenario described wherein she goes to a psychiatrist and they just take down notes and everything is done. See, already that person is under emotional deprivation, and if you're not going to listen to that person, if you're not going to let that person speak out, then where do you think the healing is going to happen? Where do you think you're going to help that person? Everyone's busy giving advices, everyone's busy giving their peace of mind, but are we anytime ready to sit and listen to someone who's talking? There are people generally people who visit doctor or therapists is because they want to vent out, is because they want to speak out something. Most of the times, like when you're in a business relationship, you are not going to be emotional there. In spite of you knowing that there is somebody who's cheating on you, there are people who are not giving you the ideal rate or the ideal product, but you still know that because you don't have the guts to speak up, you somewhere lack something in interaction, there is something wrong happening with you. Now this thing accumulated is going to have an effect, very bad effect on the personal life also. Ultimately the person's whole emotional life is taken for a toss. That emotional life of the person goes completely haywire, which lands that person into the room of a therapist or a clinical psychologists. Now these people, when they come over, and as a professional, when we start just taking down notes and taking down notes and giving them your advices is not something that's going to work all the time. What people really need is they need someone to talk to. They need people to listen to them, even if it is complete crap, but for that person it's his or her emotion. That one person sitting on the client's chair might speak one thing, maybe in a passive or active manner, repeatedly over a number of times. Then very nicely a therapist could bring that person saying that you can just go ahead, but it's not right on that person, on the therapist's part, to be completely professional. I'm not here to condemn any profession here, but at the same time, it's very important that today, because everything is becoming and everything is just placed at a very professional level, somewhere we are losing out on that empathy, which is being so well spoken of. And no wonder nowadays people are getting into more and more emotional problems. Most of the problems that come to me, they might be saying I have a lot of problem in my work. Somebody might be saying I have a lot of problem in my relationships. Ultimately, I notice that it is the problem lies who's complaining about his relationship either working well or sinking. One has to understand that it is nothing else but the person's emotional intelligence which is working very good in that case. So that is the key thing which everyone needs to know, that this is what is the secret behind a successful relationship or a successful career or a successful individual on the whole. So, as the philosophers usually say, there's only one corner of the universe that you can be certain of improving, and then that's yourself. Basically, once you understand yourself, as I said, you understand your emotions, you can manage your emotions, and that makes you understand other people's emotions. So in the whole process, what you're basically doing is you are just managing your own self. You are not doing anything to the opposite person. There is absolutely no change you are attempting or you're wishing to bring about in the person you are interacting with. But because you are so well balanced and managed well, it's very easy and simple for you to deal with people, even if they are messed up into their emotional selves. So basically, once you improve your own self, once you understand, you manage your own self, I think it's very easy for anyone to manage things and surroundings which can actually take you up to the ladder of success. And in the end, let me conclude by saying that emotional intelligence is finally when you realize that it's not all about you. Generally, if you see, this could be elaborated why I could tell you. When you see a person behaving very aggressively, then that person's aggression is basically not due to what others are behaving with him, but because somewhere he is taking everything very personally. How could he or she behave like this with me? I am hurt. I don't like this. I am not supposed to do this. So this means there is a lot of I involved, which is making a person feel that no, because I am not like this, I am not like this. So the person's aggressiveness, the sensitivity which we call this person is very sensitive, overly sensitive, or gets very soon affected, it's taking everything very personally, is because that person's only thinking from his angle, from his point of view. There is in no way this person has given even a little bit of chance for the other person's emotions in his life. If that would happen, that person would automatically stop behaving the way he or she behaves. And then because of helplessness, because ultimately in the end, the universal truth is that how much ever do you, whatever you do, your one person can never change the other person. So that person, because of helplessness and because the circumstances around cannot be changed, gets into that aggression and the aggressive mode. Rather, if we would have understood that, I'm not supposed to be expecting a lot of things. This is something that, if my expectations are dependent on the other factors in the universe, other factors around me, then there has to be some adjustment done, because everything cannot happen according to my wish, because I am not the whole and soul controller of things around. And this is where a person can actually try and manage himself so well that aggression automatically reduces and it never comes in the picture in the first place. So this is where that philosopher's lines very nicely said that it's not always about yourself. If you start thinking that's the emotional intelligence, where the first step of beginning or maybe taking you to a way ahead, when you start feeling that it's always about other people in the life too, who necessarily play an important role in whatever you are feeling or thinking or behaving at this particular point of time. Questions? Thank you so much.